guys, today we're going to be talking about probably the most viral new blush of 2023, and that is these Juvia's Place liquid blushes. I've heard so much hype about these. I've gotten tons of questions and requests to review them. So I went to Ulta yesterday, I got 3 shades to try, and I basically just selected some shades that I felt like would suit my skin tone, but I have to say the shade range on these is so good. I'll put up a picture from Instagram really quick so you can see what I'm talking about. These are supposed to be really ultra pigmented, and I just feel like they did a really great job including shades that could pretty much be worn by anybody. So why don't we go ahead and jump in and get started? And if you're new here, I hope you'll consider hitting the subscribe button if you enjoy this video. I talk about a lot of more affordable drugstore makeup here on my channel, but I also talk about mid-range and high-end occasionally as well. And I also don't do any sponsored content here on my channel. So if that sounds good, I hope you'll consider subscribing. And okay, let's go ahead and jump right in. So first up, just quickly, let's take a closer look at the blushes themselves, and I'll show you some quick swatches. So these retail for $18 and you get 0.27 fluid ounces in each product. I really like the tubes that they come in. You can see the product and the color very clearly, which I like a lot. And the tube is a bit more on the chunky side. It comes with a big doe foot applicator similar to the Maybelline Lifter glosses or the Rare Beauty blushes, which again, we will definitely do a comparison with. And these claim to be a lightweight multi-use liquid blush that creates effortless radiance and a dewy finish for cheeks. It's supposed to be highly blendable and ultra pigmented, and it's supposed to hydrate the skin with vitamin E for a natural looking glow. It's also cruelty-free and vegan and made in the United States. So with these blushes, a little bit goes a very long way, and I can't emphasize that enough, because if you dot these on like the Charlotte Tilbury Pinkgasm or Glowgasm, whatever it is, if you're dotting these on, you are gonna get way too much. I think they're even more pigmented, honestly, than the Rare Beauty, which again, I'll show you really quick, but I'm just gonna put the tiniest little dot on my hand because I want you to see how far this blends, okay? So it's just the tiniest little amount, but as you work it into your skin, look at how far this goes. And this would probably be enough to do my entire cheek. So just a tiny little amount. You can always add more, but you can't take it away. So that's just something to keep in mind. I also think application is important. If you're gonna blend them with a damp beauty sponge, it'll thin the product out a little bit. And personally, I would recommend putting these on the back of your hand and then picking them up versus dotting them on your cheeks, because you'll have a little bit more control that way. And using a damp sponge, like I said, it'll thin out the product and give you a sheerer look, or if you want a little bit more pigment, then you can apply them with a brush or your fingers. But I think if you have a lighter skin tone like I do and you don't want to go overboard, a sponge is probably your best bet, which is what I'm going to apply them with today. So let's start with the first color. This one is Blush Lily, and I think this is probably the biggest sellout risk out of all of the colors, because it's that really trendy light bubblegum pink that everybody is loving ever since last summer when the Dior Rosy Glow blush went viral, and people are still talking about it, and this is sort of like the liquid version of that. So if you're curious to try these and you like this type of color, I wouldn't wait on this one. You could always try this one. If you like it, then go back and pick up more shades. But this one, I just predict it's going to be really hard to find at some point. So let's go ahead and put this on first. Like I said, I'm going to put it on the back of my hand and then just pick it up with the sponge from there. All right, so here we go. Oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful color. I love this, and it is incredibly pigmented. So I'm just gonna go with the other side of the sponge that doesn't have the product on it to blend it out, because I'm pretty sure that's enough for me right there, and I still have a bunch left on my hand as well. These do seem to have a little bit of a dewy glow, but it's not glitter or sparkliness. I think the product itself is just a little bit more on the dewy side, so I'll have to see how it dries down. So yeah, if I touch it with my finger, it's not like a matte finish. It's not completely dried down, but it also doesn't feel overly sticky either, and I definitely don't like a sticky blush. It's just a barely there dewiness. It's not anything that's going to bother me. And I think on my drier skin, it will set down completely after a while. But how beautiful is this color? This is stunning. I have a feeling this is going to be my go-to blush this summer. Let me just see if I build it up a little bit, what happens. Of course, I love the Rosy Glow blush from Dior. I also love the Persona Bubble Blush, but there's just something about a cream blush that just looks so luminous, and it just looks really natural. And these are also supposed to be more long-lasting than a powder blush, so we'll have to see. I'm definitely going to do a wear test today. So, okay, that one is Pink Lily. I'm just going to remove this quick and then add a little bit more foundation. And the foundation I'm wearing today is the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I wear it in the shade Ecru. Also just gonna remove this one from the back of my hand. All right, so we're back in business. Let's go ahead to the next shade. This one is Soft Tulip. This is a really pretty soft peachy pink. All right, here we go. Really have to try not to pick up too much. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful as well. There's just something about these colors. These are fantastic. I love the undertone of them, and they're just giving me such summer vibes right now. I just love them. Okay, so that's Soft Tulip, just one little dab into the blush. But again, I have so much left on my hand. I think these tubes are just gonna last you forever. I'll add a little bit more just to build it up, but I'm hoping you guys can see on camera what these look like. Again, these do have a little bit of a radiant glow, but it's nowhere near the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm wands. So I think if you just want a little hint of glow and something that's not flat and matte, you'll really love these. All right, so let's remove this color. The last color is Rosy Posy. Love the name of that. And this one is a little bit of a warmer kind of mid-tone pink. Again, really, really beautiful. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh, I think I might have put a little bit too much, but we'll see how it blends out. I would say this is probably the deepest of the 3 shades that I got, but it's still honestly perfect for my skin tone. This almost looks like the color that I would blush naturally. This one is really, really beautiful, super flattering. So I think I'm just gonna leave this one on for the rest of the day, and I am gonna put a Rare Beauty one over here, but let's just take a quick look at them side by side first. So packaging wise, the Rare Beauty come in a very similar style tube. It's not quite as chunky, and it has a little bit less product. It has 0.25 fluid ounces versus 0.27. In the Juvia's place, the Rare Beauty are made in Korea, while the Juvia's are made in the United States. Both of them have a doe foot applicator. The Rare Beauty one is just a slightly different shape, but it's a very similar concept. Either way, I still recommend just putting them on the back of your hand first, so the applicator doesn't really matter all that much as far as I'm concerned. And the Rare Beauty ones are also very well known for being extremely pigmented. I don't know if they're quite as pigmented as the Juvia's place, but let's go ahead and take a quick look at some comparison swatches. I don't have a Rare Beauty blush that matches Blush Lily, and I don't believe they have a cool tone pink like this. They might come out with one at some point, just given how popular this has been, but at the moment, just looking at the Sephora website, I didn't see anything similar to that. But I do have a couple of sort of similar options to the other Juvia's Place blushes that I have. So first up, we have Soft Tulip from Juvia's Place. This is the one that was more of a peachy pink color. I think it's actually very similar to Rare Beauty's Bliss. Bliss is a little bit more peachy. It has slightly less pink in it, but I think the colors are very, very similar. I also just quickly wanted to compare it to the shades Hope and Joy. Rare Beauty's Hope is definitely a little more pink than Juvia's Place Soft Tulip, and then Joy from Rare Beauty is definitely more of a brighter orange. So I think the closest one would probably be Bliss from Rare Beauty to this specific color. And then we have Rosy Posy from Juvia's Place, and I think this one is actually very close to Rare Beauty's Happy. They're both a warmer mid-tone pink. I think Happy from Rare Beauty is just slightly brighter, maybe just a hair deeper, but they're very, very close. As far as pigmentation goes, I definitely think the Juvia's Place are even more pigmented than the Rare Beauty. If I put a dot of each one and try to blend them out, I think the Juvia's Place just spreads way further and a little bit just goes a longer way, even though the Rare Beauty, like I said, are already very pigmented. So I figured since I already have Rosy Posy from Juvia's on this cheek, I'll go ahead and put Happy from Rare Beauty over here, and we'll just do a comparison wear test and see how they hold up throughout the day. I have a feeling they're both going to hold up just fine because Rare Beauty has honestly never let me down as far as their blushes go. I think they're incredibly long lasting. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit on the back of my hand and I'll pick it up with the sponge. And yeah, like as you can see, it's definitely not the level of pigment that the Juvia's Place has. I'm gonna have to probably go in and just pick up a little bit more. So let's just do that. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And I believe this is actually one of the dewy ones from Rare Beauty. So the finish will also match the Juvia's Place really nicely. It has that little bit of glow going on. Rare Beauty also does have matte options as well, which right now I don't think the Juvia's Place do. But it could be something that they'll do in the future, maybe for like fall or winter. So looking at the two, I feel like I still have more on the cheek with the Juvia's Place. So I'm just gonna add another layer of the Rare Beauty just so that I match. And keep in mind that the Rare Beauty one was also a little deeper than the Juvia's Place in a swatch. All right, so I think they're pretty even now. Pretty close. And also when I touch this side, I feel like it definitely is setting down a little bit more. It's not quite as dewy as it was before, but it is still a little bit. And over on the Rare Beauty side, this one feels like when I first applied the Juvia's Place. And I know that these also do dry down, at least on me. So I'm gonna go about the rest of my day. What time is it? It's about 10:30. So I'll be back around maybe like 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight. We'll give it a good at least 8 hours and we'll see what everything looks like then. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Hey guys, it's 7 p.m. and I'm back for my final check-in. So I can still see these blushes on my cheeks really well. I don't think they're quite as vibrant as they were when I left before, but it has been almost 9 hours and they're still going strong. I can still see them really well. They did both dry down completely on my dry skin. Again, if you have more oily skin or combination, I don't know that they'll dry down all the way. They might. But one other thing that I noticed is that they kind of lost that glowiness that they had before. So I really think that was just due to kind of like the dewy formula versus any kind of shimmer or sparkle. I did go outside to pick up my son before, and in the car even I was looking in the mirror and I didn't see any sparkle or glitter even in sunlight. And I also don't feel like one looks more pigmented than the other right now. I feel like they kind of both faded pretty evenly, but again, it did take a lot less of the Juvia's Place blush than it did with the Rare Beauty. So I think these are just absolutely phenomenal. They could potentially be, and again, this is my first time trying them, so I don't want to like make this kind of a statement this early, but they could be my favorite liquid blush ever. Obviously, I'm going to keep playing with them, but I'm just in love with the colors, the formula. They didn't disturb my foundation underneath. That's another thing that I forgot to mention before. I felt like they applied and blended so beautifully, and they seem to be incredibly long lasting. So I'm just super impressed right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've tried these already. What do you think of them? And if you haven't, are you planning to try them? I'd love to hear your thoughts as always. And if you have some extra time and you want to stick around, check out some more of my videos, I'll go ahead and just put a playlist right here. And those are some of my favorites to check out next. And I want to thank you all so much for spending time with me. I really, truly appreciate it. And I hope I'll see all of you in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.